What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. We have another Q&A video lined up for today. Thank you to everybody that participates in these, guys. We had over 50 questions this week. That is awesome. Over on the Facebook page, by the way. So be on the lookout. The next Q&A will be done here on YouTube. So go down to the comment section below in the next few videos and I will post that I'm accepting questions. Reply to me and we'll be good to go. So enough talk here. Let's go ahead and get this show started. You guys ready? Let's do it! First question, because I want to brighten his day. This guy has been in the hospital for the last couple of months and he's not doing the best right now, but he's keeping his head up. He's trying to stay positive to the best of his ability. So I'm going to go ahead and answer his question here first. From Thomas Titrolt, I will tell Sarah you said hi, by the way. He asks, does pineapple go on pizza? I will never give up. No, pineapple does not belong on pizza. And if you think it does, then I don't know if we can be friends, buddy. I'm kidding, man. Everybody's got their personal preferences, so it is what it is. Me personally, pineapple does not belong on pizza. All right, next question is from William John. Walk us through how you consume a gallon of water a day and how and what BCAAs you put in it. And is that the same as drinking a regular gallon of water? Do the BCAAs spike your blood pressure? Sorry for the long question. You're right. You're right. Sorry for the long question, William. No problem, man. Walk you through how I go through a gallon. I go through a gallon of water so easy. And the last week, I haven't even put branched chain aminos in my water. The only branched chain aminos I get is in the morning. You guys know I fast. So in the mornings, I get branched chain aminos in the form of my pure aminos. I take 2 scoops first thing in the morning, and that's been it. I've been drinking my water plain. And I know sometimes it's hard to get all that water in, but really what I do is I'll just be sitting there kind of my computer working, and I'll kind of just think about it and I'll see my water. And instead of just taking like a sip of it to quench my thirst, I always take like 4, 5, 6 gulps because my goal is to get that water down. So I'm just thinking about it, man. I'm just planning ahead for it. And then your other question was what BCAAs you put in it. Usually I do Scivation Extend. They're the best tasting I've found. Is that the same as drinking a regular gallon of water? Yes, except there's branched chain amino acids in it. And then into the branched chain amino acids spike your blood sugar. There's a lot of weird opinions out there on that matter. There's some scientific studies behind it. Everything I've found is that it doesn't, but I don't know, guys. It's one of those things. Everybody's different. Try it for yourself. If you notice it spiking your blood sugar, which I'm not even sure what that feels like, then hey, maybe lay off of it. But I've never noticed anything, and a lot of studies I've read have never really said that that's a definitive. So awesome, man. Thanks for your question. Andrew Price, do you follow pro bodybuilding? Do you think anyone will dethrone Phil Heath this year at Mr. Olympia? I don't think Phil Heath can get dethroned. I do follow pro bodybuilding a little bit, and I think Phil Heath is just the complete package. I don't think he'll get dethroned. He's far too marketable. There's too much controversy surrounding Kai and his past for him to ever really win. I truly believe that because behind the scenes of all this stuff, it's not really the best man winning. It's the most marketable man winning, and it's all a popularity contest. It's who's the most marketable, who's the best face to have on this brand. That's the sad truth, guys. Pro bodybuilding is not necessarily what it used to be. Not that I know a lot about how it used to be. I just don't think talent wins overall anymore. I think a lot of it is a mixture of talent and people's perception of you in the grand scheme of things. So they want a good face for bodybuilding, and Phil Heath is that face. So I don't see him being dethroned unless he really comes in not conditioned this year, which I don't see happening. Phil Heath is a hustler, so he's got it. Thanks for your question, man. Tiffany Graham, she asks, recommendations for a fat burner that's non-caffeinated. Rule 1, Lean 5 is by far my favorite brand for sure. Get that, I'm telling you, you cannot go wrong with that one. Thanks for your question. From Shocky Grant, if your calories are in a deficit all week and one day you happen to eat a little over, but your weekly totals are still under, is that okay? Yeah, totally okay. Your body is not the type that it runs day to day. It's more of a long game. It's more of a week to week type thing. So yeah, if I do that and I eat a little over one day, I'll balance out the next day and all is well. So yeah, it's your more or less focus on your weekly totals as opposed to your daily totals. Don't overstress it. Just balance it out. Everything will work out. Thank you for your question. From Corwin Roveredo, I think I got that right. He asks, do you weigh your meat cooked or raw? If weighing cooked, where can you find the nutritional value? I do both. Depends on what I'm trying to do at that point in time. If I'm prepping a bunch of chicken in my crock pot, for instance, I will then weigh it cooked. And if I'm gonna prep just maybe one meal or maybe just a couple meals and I have a package there, I can scan the label, then I'll weigh it out beforehand and go ahead and cook it. It just depends on what I'm doing, man. I'm flexible in that approach. If you Google nutritional information for cooked meat, you will find it. I typically find that your lean sources, such as chicken breast, such as 99% lean ground turkey, cod, tilapia, stuff like that, are gonna have about 7 grams of protein per 28 grams of cooked weight. So you can kind of do that math and approximate from there. Thank you for your question. From Katie Etzel, she asks, okay, who is the special female guest you're sneaking little comments in about? I do that on purpose simply because I know that even if only 1% of people notice those little comments, it gets them thinking and it gets them more engaged, and hence you're asking this question. That's a secret. One of these days you guys might find out, but you know, like I said, I like to keep some of that stuff a little private, but who knows, if she's down to be in a video, I'll put her in a video. Heck, I ain't greedy. Thanks for your question. From Jeffrey McDonald, he asks, I try to be positive and happy as much as possible, but I often find myself feeling bad for myself for getting a bad attitude over trivial things that don't really mean that much in the grand scheme of things. So my question is, have you struggled becoming such a positive person? And if so, how did you overcome them? Well, truth be told, I have not always been the most positive person, and I'm gonna try to make this short and sweet. That way we're not sitting here talking about this forever, because I know I've touched on subjects similar to this in a lot of past videos, but a lot of my life I talk about this. I never felt adequate enough, right? I was never the popular kid. I never really had anything going for me. I felt like my friends all had more stuff going on than me, had the girlfriends and stuff like that, whereas I didn't. And I was kind of the guy that trapped myself in my room and played video games and would much rather be friends with people online, you know, than I would rather be in person. And in turn, that jaded me a little bit, and then I kind of felt like the world owed me something since I didn't feel like I was given anything by anybody else. And this kind of spiraled to where like I would let those trivial things bother me. You know, I'd have someone driving a little slow in front of me in their car, then I'll find myself all worked up at a stoplight, like, why is this person not going? And realizing that I'm making myself mad over the dumbest things. And what I've come to find out and what kind of made me become more of a positive person was when I started this entire YouTube journey, and everybody told me that this wasn't possible, that I couldn't do this, that I wasn't attracted enough to do it, that my body wasn't good enough to do it. And I heard every excuse in the book of why this was gonna fail and why I could never make this a full-time job. I told myself early on when I started this that I was gonna adapt a principle, that I wasn't gonna be quick to anger about stuff, and I was gonna accept that everything that happened to me was meant to happen, right? Everything that happened to me was part of my story, part of my book, my journey, right? I'm a firm believer that everything I'm going to do in the future has been already pre-planned. It's gonna happen the way it's gonna happen. So me reacting negatively to these situations doesn't do anything for me. All you're doing is putting negative energy out there, and in turn that creates more negative energy. It comes back to you, kind of sets the entire balance off, in my opinion. I find that the more positive energy you put out there, instead of getting mad at the person at the stoplight, simply realize in your head like, okay, maybe, just maybe, if I was going a little faster, this person wasn't here to slow me down, I could have gotten a wreck up the street. Right? Or I could have been not paying attention and I could have hit somebody, right? And you gotta think about it that way. You can't think about it in the negative way. Like, oh, woe is me, this happens to me, this and that. Like, you cannot think like that. That is such a self-defeating mindset. And I think that's what keeps a lot of people from ever reaching out and grabbing what they want and going after things that they're passionate about, is because they're so scared of that negative feedback loop that they're used to getting, because when they get that negativity pushed upon them, they in turn respond with negativity, and then boom, you have a vicious cycle of negativity. So all I'm gonna say is that start being more positive. Give it a try for a few days. Don't get mad. Try to treat every situation as it's preordained and it's meant to happen. And I'm telling you, once you notice how your life starts changing, you'll pick up little things in your day-to-day that are signs of a sort, telling you that you're on the right path, telling you that what you're doing is worth it, and telling you that the path you're on is the path you're meant to be on. And once you start experiencing that and feeling that, it becomes addicting. And I'm not gonna lie to you and tell you that there's not times when maybe I'm not as positive as I wanna be, and there's not times when I'm not hard on myself. You know, I will say the positive times are way up here and those negative times are way down here, and no one's perfect. You're never gonna have that all the way up here, all the way down here. You're always gonna have that little bit of gray area, but as long as you're putting your best foot forward and you're trying your hardest, I'm telling you, things will work out. Thank you for your question. From Ashley Jensaric, she asks, I'm late, but seriously, how hard is it to not cuss? It's not really that hard, I don't find it is. Now, if I'm around my friends and it's just a few of us at dinner, yeah, some cuss words might slip out here or there. I'm not telling you guys that I just strictly don't cuss ever, but I just feel like being on camera and giving out the information I give out, right? There's enough bad stuff out there already. There's enough negative influences on children. There's enough negative influences on young adults. There's enough negative influences on adults, honestly, that I don't feel like I need to put any more of that out there into the world. I just simply don't. So maybe the first couple of videos it was a little tougher, but now it's second nature to me. If this camera's on, I know like what to say and what not to say. And a lot of this is I don't think any of my videos out in advance, by the way. For anybody that wants to know my methodology, I put out a video. Today is video 160 in 160 days. Haven't missed a day. And I never plan my videos out in advance. I might have the idea, like, okay, this is what I want to do, but I never like write it out and script it or what I'm gonna say. This is all off the top of my head. And it might take a take or two for me to really portray what I'm trying to say in a clear and concise manner to where you guys understand understand it, but I don't plan any of this out, guys. I just kind of let it flow. Let it flow. I feel like everything I say in these videos is what I'm meant to say, right? And if I was meant to cuss, that would be what flows out of me, but that isn't what flows out of me. It's this. This is what comes out of me, so it's really not that hard. Thanks for your question. From Kat Luna, why can't I lose weight using the recommended calories from MyFitnessPal? Because that app is garbage at telling you what your recommended calories are. Absolute garbage. It is not an accurate representation of how much you should be consuming at all. Don't follow that at all. Go to a site like iifym.com, go to their macronutrient calculator, plug your info in, and start from there. That's a way better option than MyFitnessPal. MyFitnessPal still relies on old ways of thinking in regards to nutrition. Not a big fan. Find yourself some macros, plug them in, follow them there. You'll be good to go. Final question from Joshua Agnes. He asks, advice on how to prevent binge eating. And then we have Sharon Shepard below this. Hi, Sharon, one of my clients right now, by the way. She is absolutely killing it. We did our check-ins this morning. She commented, I like this, so I have to answer it now. Preventing binge eating. I used to be the world's biggest binge eater, and I'm not gonna lie to you and tell you that I don't still struggle with that from time to time, for sure. The one thing I've found that's helped me more than anything is that I plan every single one of my days out. Final meal I have on any given day is like a treat meal for me. So for instance, today, my final meal today, so far today I've had chicken, black beans, and broccoli for 2 of my meals. I had like protein pizza thing this morning that you guys probably seen a few vlogs ago. I had some egg whites, and I think that's it. I might have, and some almond butter. So that's all I've had today. I am literally done eating. Right now it is 6 p.m. I'll be done eating until later on tonight. My final meal of the day though is gonna be probably about 45% of my macros or calories for the day. And I've planned myself out a nice protein pizookie I'm gonna have. I've factored in a halo top into my macros, or at least half of one. I'm gonna take out and scoop on top of it. That is gonna be my final meal of the day. And when you factor in stuff like that, like healthier options that fit your goals and fit your macros for the day, that's your treat. You're done. You know, you're not literally depriving yourself eating nothing but chicken and rice every single meal of every single day. And then when you do see that ice cream, or you do finally have that thing you haven't had for 30 days, you go nuts, you go ballistic, you go crazy. I'm telling you, find a creative way to factor in something you enjoy into your meal plan, balance it into your macros, and then just be responsible after that. If you're craving it, you probably want to eat the whole thing, but that's where having a little bit of self-control comes into play, because I'm literally dishing out half a container of Halo Top. I could easily sit there and eat the whole thing, but you gotta want it. You gotta want it, because in the end, it's a battle between you and your brain, right? And in the end, you are your brain. You are in complete control of your brain. Your brain controls your body. Your body isn't on autopilot. It's not just walking over, grabbing the food, taking it, binge eating it. It's not. You have complete control. You just have to understand that you do have complete control. Well, because once you master this, everything else becomes far, far easier. So my ultimate rule of thumb to prevent binge eating: save your largest meal for the last meal of the day while you're relaxing at home. Make it creative. Make it something you enjoy. That way, once you have it, you don't really feel like you're being deprived whatsoever. That has been a game changer for me on this cut. Thank you for your question. And that, guys, is gonna wrap up this Q&A video. Thank you so very much for all your continuous support. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. And if you have any ideas for future videos, make sure to comment those below. I appreciate each and every one of you as always. And don't forget to smile, remain positive, and pay someone a compliment, because you never know whose day you could be making better. With that, I'm out of here. This has been a Remington James production, and I will see you guys at the next video. See you guys.